Hi, how are you doing? I'm just wondering how important rules are for you in life. Are you someone who loves rules or someone who hates rules? Someone who likes to stick to rules or someone who kind of likes breaking rules? I think we really need to think this through because rules play a part for all of us. And what's really interesting for me as well is not so much the rules as in the laws of the land, but the rules we've created for ourselves or the rules we've kind of adopted from other people. A few weeks ago, I went to the cinema with my youngest son, and we went to watch an absolutely shocking film. And 5 minutes into the film, he spoke in a really loud voice. He asked me a question. He went, "Daddy, who's that?" And I shushed him. I leant over and shushed him and said, "Shh, you've got to speak in a whisper in the cinema." And he said, "Why?" And then I looked around the cinema and realised we were the only two people watching that film. That should have been a clue that it was going to be shocking, but we were the only two people in the entire cinema. And yet I've shushed him. What's going on there for me? And actually what's happening is I'm adhering to a rule that when the cinema's full, right, full of people, speaking in a whisper is a pretty good rule, so you're not ruining the film for other people. But when there's only me and him in the cinema, speaking in a whisper is a completely ludicrous rule. It's ridiculous. He can speak as loud as he wants when there's only me and him in the cinema. In fact, if he wants to, he could bring a drum with him and bang it all the way through the film, because the rule of speaking in a whisper doesn't count anymore in that situation. Yet this reminds me of us, that often we've been given a load of rules in our childhood, a load of things where we've been taught that we have to be like this and do that, and yet as adults, in the way we want to live our lives, those rules are completely defunct. Simple ones like you've got to eat everything on your plate. Who says? Other ones like you only speak when you're spoken to. Well, sometimes that's good, but other times it's ridiculous. And yet so many of us can be living up to rules that were helpful maybe as a kid. They helped us function in the family we grew up in, but now they're completely defunct. They make no sense to us, and we need to set ourselves free from these rules. I think it's really important to look at what rules have you given yourself or have you adopted from your parents or your upbringing that you're still living up to that actually don't matter. They're as useless as shushing someone in the cinema when there's only two of you there. What rules are you living up to and sticking to and adhering to that actually don't help you anymore? In fact, they hold you back. It's really, really worth considering, because what you might discover by thinking this through is that you've got a whole host of rules that aren't really yours, don't really suit you, don't really work for you. And actually I'd encourage you to abandon those rules. Get rid of them and figure out for yourself how you really want to be and what works for you right now. Good luck with this. Take care of yourselves.